The Moon by Brett Dowdy. Chances are you've heard the saying, talk to the man in the moon, or I love you to the moon and back, or how about once in a blue moon? Most nights of the year we can look into the sky and find the moon looking back at us. There are many myths, legends, and facts that surround this beautiful feature of the night sky. There is a very famous Chinese myth about a woman who is said to live on the moon. The myth states that she and her husband were once immortal beings who were made mortal because of their bad behavior. They then attempted to return to immortality through the use of a pill, but Chang Yi, the wife, got greedy and took too many pills and ended up floating up to the moon, where she remained stuck forever. Recently, the werewolf has made its way onto the big screen, as has the vampire, one being controlled by the sun, the other by the moon. The werewolf, as we know, is affiliated with the full moon. Typically, it is believed that these are creatures that have human form, but that morph into wolf-like creatures when the full moon is in the sky. There are myths that tell us that the blue moon makes people do crazy things, or that the moon is made of cheese. The moon are plenty, and you can find stories, romantic or scary, with any click of the mouse that involves our moon. But let's take a look at some of the most amazing facts about the moon that far outweigh the myths. When was the last time that you looked at a bright, beautiful moon? Did you know that what you are seeing is not actually the light of the moon? The moon itself is not a light source. It does not make its own light. The moon reflects light from the sun. We can see the moon because light from the sun bounces off it back to the earth. If the sun wasn't there, we wouldn't be able to see our moon. The moon appears to change shape, but what we are actually seeing is the moon lit up by the light from the sun in different ways on different days. The moon always keeps the same side pointing towards us, so we can never see the back of the moon from Earth. It's also known as the dark side of the moon. As the moon rotates around the Earth, it also rotates around its own axis at the same rate. This is why we always see the same side of the moon. I don't know about you, but it kind of makes me wonder, what does the other side look like? When was the last time you took a trip to the ocean? Were the tides high and powerful, or were they low and gentle? This, too, is a result of our powerful moon. The moon causes many of the tides in the Earth's ocean. This is because of the gravity force between the Earth and the moon. During full and new moons, the gravitational forces of the sun and moon combine to produce the highest tides, called spring tides. During quarter moons, the gravitational forces of the sun and the moon oppose each other to produce the lowest tides, called neap tides. Put that in your pocket for the next time you take your kids to the beach. So, you probably know that the sun has certain times that it rises and sets. It fluctuates depending on the time of year, but for the most part, we know pretty much when to expect it. Well, guess what? The moon rises and sets at specific times according to what phase it is in. The new moon rises and sets at approximately the same time as the sun. The first quarter moon rises at mid-morning and sets at midnight, so it is at its height around dusk, not in the middle of the night. The full moon rises at sunset and sets at sunrise. The full moon is the only moon that will be overhead in the middle of the night. The last quarter moon rises at midnight and sets at mid-morning, so unless you're a late owl, you probably have never seen this moon. Okay, now let's talk specifics about this amazing piece of our solar system. The moon is about 250,000 miles from Earth. So what exactly does that mean to you? Well, if you were to travel to the moon by car, you would need to take plenty of things to keep the children occupied, because it's going to be a long ride. It would take us about 130 days. If we were to travel by rocket, it would take considerably less time, about 13 hours. And if we could travel by light speed, well then, it would only take us 1.52 seconds. It takes the moon about 27 days to go all the way around the Earth and return to its starting position. Do you ever wonder how old the moon is? Me either, but just so you know, the moon is 4.5 billion years old, which means if there really is a man in the moon, well, he'd look a whole lot older than this. I hope you have enjoyed learning a little bit more about our simply amazing, wonderful, phenomenal, big, bright, and beautiful moon. And the next time you take a peek at it, remember all the amazing features that it has.
Well, I'd like to visit the moon on a rocket ship high in the air. Yes, I'd like to visit the moon, but I don't think I'd like to live there. Though I'd like to look down at the earth from above, I would miss all the places and people I love. So although I might like it for